Welcome to a very special AMMWEC live stream. It's indeed a special day since hostages have been released after 2 years, more than 700 days. The atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7 still linger on. Um, I think these are the families that lived that very day, every single day, for more than 700 years. So even though now the ceasefire is in place, I don't think, and that's my personal view, but I don't think that the war is still over. But having said that, the hostages that were alive are back home, and that's a big day for the advocates of peace, people who want Middle East to be peaceful and thriving and alive and clean of all these terrorist organizations. Anyway, my name is Wajid Sayed. I'm the producer and host of this special stream. I now invite Anina Ali to give opening remarks, and then I'll invite other guests to join us. Anila, stage is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. And welcome to everybody. Today is indeed a very momentous occasion. We witness hope that is restored as the hostages return home after enduring the most unimaginable conditions, deep underground, darkness, and despair for 2 years. They are home. And it makes me very emotional because we were the first Muslim group, perhaps the only Muslim group from America that went to see the hostages, families in Gaza, in Israel, and all the kibbutz in 2023. And the families that we met, many of them were Muslims in the Negev desert, and then they were Druze, and then they were also Jews. And today it gives me great relief, and I want to thank Allah that I can do that, that the tags that they gave us for the families, this is from the Negev desert. Our brother gave it to us, who is a commander in the Israeli forces. He's a Muslim serving in the IDF. And today I feel very happy that I can take this off. And oh, I have 3 more to share. Here's another one, and here's another one, and I will take it off. But what we have to understand is this is the beginning of a new relationship between the Arab world and the Israelis. And I think our prayers have finally been answered. It is a day indeed of human triumph, that faith overcame fear, and that when we persevere, like President Trump did, he believed in this in 2020, and the White House had reached out to us as a Muslim women's organization. We took that stand. It was a stand on our faith that yes, Allah wants all his creation to live together in peace. And la ikraha fi din, there is no compulsion in religion. This war was not about religion. This war had to end, but we needed leadership like President Trump's. First in 2020, when we signed up to endorse the Abraham Accords, and now that it's finally found an end to this suffering, the suffering of the Palestinian children, who are the biggest losers, who don't know anything but have just seen war. And I hope that this moment, when the hostages are coming home and a new peace, an era of peace has started, that we're all going to remember the deepest suffering that both these peoples have gone through. And not just now, since the time of 1948, the time that UN mandated 2 states. They could have had a state then, but let's hope that this is going to be the end of the misery of all the people living in the Middle East, and also a beginning of a new collaboration between the Arabi and the Ajami world, which is where I come from as a Muslim Pakistani. It gives me great joy, and I'm so pleased and honored to see the president of my birth country, Prime Minister of my birth country, Shahbaz Sharif, take this stand. It wasn't easy for him also to do this in a country that also has been, infiltrated by the extremist voices. It wasn't easy, but he took this stand, and I nominate President Trump as a humble Muslim faith leader who believed in Abrahamic unity. I nominate him for this Nobel Peace Prize. And with that, may the hostages meet with their families in joy for the rest of their lives. Over to you, Wajid.
Indeed. So I'm gonna sprinkle this special stream with the messages from the hostage families or family members of the hostages that have been released now. So one of them, I'll start with the first one, and then I'll invite the next guest. Um, so this is a statement from the family of Etan Moore. As we all know now, we have come to learn their names and their faces and everything. And it starts with a quote that says, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." In praise and thanksgiving to God, we are happy to announce that our Etan is home.
Um,
Our beloved Etan, how we waited for you. How we waited to see you finally after 2 years. We saw you for the last time today on Rosh Hashanah, on 2 years ago, and we embrace you today back into the family. Our Eton returned to us thanks to the commanders and fighters of the IDF and other security forces, and our heroes who went out to destroy the enemy with complete dedication. And then it goes on. I think when we started that, I think we should also thank President Trump, his team, and all the other Arab and Muslim nations who stood by, who enforced on Hamas to come to terms with this reality that they are destroyed, and then they have to release these hostages. With that, I'm going to move on to Sheikh Musa Trame. He is from New York. He's a very vocal person. He was part of our last special transmission, special episode as well. I'm gonna invite him to say a few words. Over to you, Sheikh.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Salam. Good afternoon, Wajid and Sister Anila and others. To piggyback on what Sister Anila said, this moment is unique and the players are unique. You know, seeing Indonesian president and Pakistani president on the Egyptian soil discussing a long-term peaceful coexistence in regards to the Palestinian and the Israelis, this is new. We have failed promises, we have failed handshakes, we have failed, hopes. But this one, if you read the signs, then you will have nothing but high expectation of what to come. And when we study the history of Prophet Moses and how God, through his infinite guidance and mercy, allow him, to be in the loving, tender care loving household of Pharaoh. And, when they question, why would Pharaoh, a creature that is deemed the worst anti-God would house a prophet of God and provide comfort and everything. And Pharaoh's wife said, because he is an apple to my eyes. the love that Pharaoh's wife had for Moses created a home for Moses. And today, as Muslims, in our holy book, Prophet Moses is mentioned 136 times. Prophet Muhammad, who brought the book, mentioned 4 times. I'm saying this to say that what was signed in Egypt, a land where the Israelis skipped out of, but a land that is home to the birth of Muslim Brotherhood, the birth of Arab League, and the engine, and I would even say the intellectual part of this Muslim Ummah. Converging there with the top most influential world leaders is a sign that, portend something new. And I believe that something new is brewing concerning the Holy Land. I am extremely hopeful. I know that we have disappointment after disappointment for the past 90 years, even before Israel, the current Israel's construct started. However, this is new, and I believe that change has arrived, and I believe that the players will commit to a long-term, sustainable, peaceful coexistence of a two-state solution, and that is what I see out of this, and I'm not dreaming. I'm reading the signs, and I could not have been more excited. This morning, this afternoon, I just received a message from Yehuda Cohen, who's the father of Nimrod Cohen, 21-year-old, held hostage, since October 7. But the father said, "My brother, we're fine. Nimrod is home now." And that message is like, ice poured into my heart, because if you remember, Nimrod, Yahud was one of the most vocal, appealer for assistance. And so we promised him that we will do everything to making sure that not only his son, but the rest of the hostages will be out. And I'm happy that today we can say they are home. So thank you for hosting this. And I believe that we have finally entered a new phase, in this long, deadly saga, not only in the Middle East, but throughout the world. 9/11, I'm here in New York City. 9/11 hijackers blame, the Holy Land for their attack, and many, many other attacks all over the world. The attackers always connected to the Holy Land. So today is a great day, and President Trump deserves more credit than we can even give him, because the way he approached this is so unique and so profound, and it's so intelligent. I think, history will be kind, to him concerning what he did. And I'm glad that we live to witness such a momentous new development emerging out of the Holy Land. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheikh. Please do stay with us as we carry the messages along. The next message is from, or the statement is from the family of Matan Angres, and they say, "We can breathe again. Our Matan is home. Our beloved boy has been returned to us after 2 complex years, and we are so proud of him. We admire his strength. We cannot stop hugging him, and we are already planning with him his return to the green bleachers. This moment fills our hearts with deep gratitude, with humility, and with infinite love to be part of the people of Israel who carried us on their shoulders throughout this entire long, painful, an impossible period. Matan went out to fight for the people of Israel, and for 2 years, an entire nation went out to fight for him. The people of Israel proved they do not leave fighters behind. So this go on, and so are we moving on. I would like to invite our friend journalist from Pakistan, has been living here in the United States for a very long time, has been speaking out for the people of Israel, went to Israel as well to see, to witness, to bear witness what was going on and how things were unfolding. I'm going to invite Hassan Mustafa to join. But Hassan Bhai,
Thank you, Anila, and thank you, Wajid. And good to see you, Musa. Shalom, salam, namaste. I'm here. So I'm here. Thanks to the Sharaka, last year I went to Israel, and I myself witnessed, as Wajid mentioned, the ravages of the terror savage of Hamas there. I went to Nova, the festival, the music festival, which had turned into the killing fields at the hands of the terrorists. Uh, I witnessed their savages there, and I also went to near Ozi village, which was mostly pro-Palestinians and I mean, they were leftist more, and I saw their destruction and deaths there, how the people were, even infants were taken away or killed, and with the baby formulas and all this stuff, with the mixed with the blood. So I saw it there. So I'm now a bit happy because the hostages are returned. I feel sad. I feel sad about those who couldn't who weren't got to make to their homes, the hostages. So I feel so sad about them. I just want to say this, and I'm also sad about and saddened about the killing of our journalist friend in Pakistan, Imtiaz Mir, who had been killed. He visited Israel twice and he was killed. We don't know with certainty that who killed him, but a group, claiming to be working active from Iran, has claimed his assassination, though we cannot say with certainty. And we cannot say certainty if Pakistani ISI killed him or military killed him, or because he was a vocal journalist, though he wasn't totally agreed with Israel or even with my thought, my thinking, but he was killed, and now the people are divided. So we should, and Tuesday we are going to protest in front of Pakistan consulate. So I would also, from this stage, to demand that at least the Pakistani government we should open thorough investigation into his assassination, who killed him. So it's very important, and so that's I would say.
thank you, Hassan Mustafa, our time friend, went to Israel to bear witness, and saw all what atrocities that the terrorist organization Hamas had committed there. Moving on, I have a message from Guy, Talal, the family. They've said that they're overjoyed to welcome Guy back. This is a moment we have waited and longed for with anxiety, faith, and hope. Our Guy is with us. We are grateful first and foremost to the heroic IDF soldiers, to the wounded, and to the bereaved families who will forever remain in our hearts. We thank President Trump, the Prime Minister of Israel, and the entire people of Israel who accompanied us for the first agonizing and painful day until this long-awaited joyful moment. We hope that every family will reach this longed-for moment and receive their loved ones home, including all the deceased, for burial in the land of Israel. So yes, there are a few who are thankfully back, but then there are a few who are not alive, and that's a very sorrowful moment at the same time. I'm going to invite AMMWEC's longtime partner, our friend. Where is she? Where did she go? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? I can't find her again, but there's another partner. There she is. Okay, so I'm going to invite Sroya Dean to say a few words. Sroya, please join.
Thank you, Wajid. So meaningful for us to gather today, because today I believe is a new beginning. But there's a lot of work to be done. Peace is not going to happen because leaders got together and had a vision for peace. I think in the Muslim world, this is an urgent call for us right now to call on the people in the grassroots, our religious leaders. We have to get rid of this saying that Jews cannot exist. They have no right to exist. Anti-Semitism and Jew hatred has proliferated for too long in our communities. So if we are to really celebrate this moment and look for the future for the Palestinians, because they never had one. I was in conversation with a woman from Gaza just yesterday. She was telling me the people in Palestine, they don't know Gaza. They don't know anything that's happening outside. They've been told to hate the Jews. So we have to change this. To impress at this moment, this should be our clarion call. We not just say, yeah, we are going to have peace, good, Trump has done his work, this leader has come. That's not enough for us. We have been there, we have done that. We're fighting this for decades, and we know today the roots of this. So we have to disseminate each root carefully, the source of each root, where this is coming. So that is my message. Sorry, I came in a little late. I don't know whether I've gone off track, Anila and Wajid. Is this what you wanted us to speak on?
You're doing fine. Yes.
Okay.
You can
You can never go wrong.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
You.
So I'm gonna. If you have to add something, please do.
Yeah. So I would say, Anila, because you and I work together, Wajid, three of us work together, we have to have one uniform message for the community, for the Jews and the Muslims to come together. And I think we have to have one uniform message where we say we have to leave behind old teachings, old learnings, and we have to call on our religious leaders, particularly because they have captive audiences. Our Sheikh is right here, he knows this, and he talks on this fearlessly, which we have not heard. We need 100 Sheikh Musas. We can get this done, but we need to be united, and we need to give our youth, Palestinian and Jewish, and our own country, America, is under great threat. You know, Douglas Murray said, Israel may have won the war, but the West has lost everything. Because our institutions are being hijacked, you know, our narratives are being hijacked. So that is my hope. That is my hope. And I don't want to be pessimistic, but we have come at a great juncture. We have taken a great step. Let's move forward with hope and optimism and great work that we are still called to do. Thank you.
We do hope so, but also we hope that there are many Sheikh Musas, but right now we just have one, and he's leading the way, and very forcefully. So I'm going to move on with Argali and Ziv have come home, return to our personal picture of triumph as they are embraced in the safe and protective arms of Talia, their heroic mother, which also reminds me of Rachel, how bravely she fought, not just from the day one, but when she came to know that her son was assassinated. So even after that, she fought with every single heartbeat and represented their families, became the voice of us, and so forcefully that it is so inspiring every time to listen to her. By the way, if you listen to her speech today, that's incredible. It will just make you really feel what she went through and how she went through. So anyway, they have returned to the live spoken from them on that first Saturday. They were separated and cruelly torn apart for the first time in their lives, and reunited today. Goes on. I'm not going to go into the details, but I'm going to invite Anila and Sheikh Musa to comment on what happened at Sharm el Sheikh today after President Trump was in Jerusalem, and then was with Netanyahu and welcomed all the hostages. What transpired, and then he went to Sharm el Sheikh. Would you like to comment on that?
Wajid, thank you so much. I missed some of your, I didn't have a very clear connection, but I think we are going to discuss what happened after President Trump went to Sharm el Sheikh, or after?
When he went to Sharm el Sheikh, yes. And then,
Yes.
then he
I mean, I mean, what we have to marvel at, President Trump's ability to bring about 8 Muslim countries, some of them who did not talk to each other. So, Qatar having a kind of a tribal rivalry and a disconnect with UAE and Saudi Arabia on Muslim Brotherhood issue. President Trump brought them together on one platform. These are Muslim countries that can and have the ability to make a difference in the lives of those Palestinians and in the world if they were to come together. We have had OIC for many, many years. It hasn't been able to achieve much success in the Muslim world to bring the warring factions together, even if that meant it was for Afghanistan or South Asia, peace in South Asia, or even if it was their own Syria. Syria, we forget, 700,000 Muslims were killed by Muslims in a civil war, and OIC didn't do anything. But President Trump, through his economic prosperity, and Imam Musa, you can guide me, but I have always felt that one of the strengths that Islam had and how it spread was through peace deals, trade, and that is what the Prophet of Islam himself was inspired when he would go for those caravans to Syria. And it is not something, totally out of the box for us that, peace through strength is important, but also through trade. What would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think at your event, or maybe another event, I had stated a conversation I had with an imam, when people ask him, what is Islam? And he would reply by saying, Islam is morals and ethics. Ordinarily, when people ask people what Islam, they say 5 pillars, this and that and that. But the Imam said Islam is morals and ethics. What I want us actually, AMMWEC and the other affiliates, I think the assignment that I want to give ourselves is the Muslim world is ignorant concerning Israel. 100% ignorant.
Yeah.
And the word Zionism is a word that we need to take assignment to let them know what Zionism is. And I think simple but very profound, because ignorance is what leads Muslims to self-destruct. Ignorance is what caused this hatred. Ignorance is what caused anti-Semitism. As I said, an imam who listened to one of the interviews that David Dubadai, whatever, your friend did, called me with such a profound anger in his tone. And I thought that I probably killed a lot of people, not just one, but a lot of people. And we talked, and then we talked for about 30 minutes. And at the end, he said to me, I'm sorry. I really didn't understand. I'm sorry. And because I broke down all the things that he himself did not know, and he thought he knew, and he did not. And then we end up the call and became so much closer, and he called me out of anger to a point where he asked me to take Shahada, because he said that I came out of Islam. He said, the only way now I can continue if you can take Shahada again. I said, okay, where do I begin? He said, La ilaha illallah. I said, La ilaha illallah. I went through the whole thing. So he said, okay, now I know you're a Muslim now. You're a Muslim again. But what I'm saying is, Zionism, I told him Zionism is what you guys are promoting as the sayings of your prophet, which is Hubbul Watan min al Iman. The love of your country is part of your deen. And I said, that is Zionism. He said, no, and I said, that is 100% Zion, nothing else. And I said, what is Zionism? Then he come up with all the other wrong things. I said, no. If does ICE represent Islam? He said, no. I said, does Al-Qaeda represent Islam? He said, no. I said, what you just said are equivalent to ICE and Al-Qaeda compared to Zion. Zionism is Hubbul Watan min al Iman. The love of your homeland is your faith. And at the end, Zionism was no longer something that he was hateful, nothing, because now he can relate to it. So I think our assignment is to concentrate on normalizing Zionism with the love of your nation is part of your Iman. Simple, but profound, because Muslims behave because Muslims are ignorant. Even within Palestine, you'd be surprised to know that a lot of the Palestinians have never traveled anywhere except within 1 mile radius. If they cannot walk it, they have not traveled outside. They don't know anything about Israel. So if the Palestinians themselves who live in one village or one town do not know the rest of their homeland, imagine now, people in Jordan, Lebanon, and now imagine the wider OIC members. All they're afraid is Zionism. That's why when they want to hurt you or hate you, they say, oh, he's Zionist. And that means you're marked for hatred, and in the Muslim country, you're marked. So I think we need to, make Zionism so appealing to them, just like love of your homeland. Last but not least, when they talk about Israelis was established 1948, I said, if Israel was established 1948, and Quran said, Moses told his people, enter the Holy Land in which Allah assigned unto you. Where was that Holy Land? I mean, can you tell me where that Holy Land was? Was it in New Jersey or in China? So we have to also refute the fact that this is a new country established by foreigners who have no attachment to it. That is not the case, because if Moses 3,000 years ago said enter the Holy Land, and Quran repeat the same thing 1,400 years ago, and by the way, the Imam got it. And then we talk about Masjid Aqsa. I said it didn't exist during the lifetime of Muhammad. He said, no, you're lying, astaghfirullah. I said it did not exist. And then I said, by the way, let's Google it. Then he Googled. He said, oh my God. Basic things that they don't know. This is Imam. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about Imam. So I think we just need to go to the basics and educate the Muslim world. And then I think once they enlighten, a lot of things will change. But today is a great day, and I'm very hopeful that it'll generate a lot of positive outcome for days and weeks and months to come.
So Sheikh Musa, I'm just curious now that now you have repeated all those statements. Do you have to say the Shahada again, or are you still?
I would say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
No, but that's exactly what used to happen to us, right? When we go into the Masjid al-Aqsa, it's not enough for them to say, I'm a Muslim. Then they made me, every time I went, I used to fight with them. They want me to repeat my kalima, repeat my second kalima, and third, and then say the Surah Ikhlas, and say, Alhamd, and then, tell me about the Prophet. And I said, this is against Islamic teachings, that if anyone says the Shahada, wallah, that's it. You don't have to badger them like that. And I said, those are the things we don't fight about, but we fight when you and I and, you know, three of us are saying we believe what Allah has said in the Quran, that Moses, go on to take your people into the Holy Land. And that's the teaching of Quran. But Imam Sahib, I have to say that I can be tolerant of ignorance, but when we have educated people that have read and read and know, and then they come out with, you know, the Jews don't have a right to exist. They have no right to that holy land, and they deny, you know, our prophets, and like you said, Prophet Musa, Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, in our prayers every day. You know, they don't know what they're saying in their salah. That shocks me, and that makes me upset that, you know, we don't know enough about our own religion, and that we listen to TikTok saying, oh, she's a Zionist. But why am I Zionist? Because it is a part of Islam. Allah gave the Holy Land to the Jews. He has chosen them above all other people. And that I learned myself. I wanted to find out. So we not only have that problem, you know, globally, of educating and telling Muslims, read, you know, read all sides, and read about other faiths as well, so that you know who your neighbor is. Ahle Kitab, you know, you have to learn about who you're living with as well. And that increases your understanding, your faith increases, you become a stronger person, you know, a creation of Allah, that you can live with your neighbors in peace. But the biggest problem I found in our community was their inability to accept that Jews, Israel, have a right to that holy land. Even before the Muslims and the Christian came, they were there.
That's true. There's a religious historical background, and then there's political background. 1947 onwards, people mostly think that it was just the white colonials who just took over the land. They don't go into the historic background of everything, how it transpired from the Ottoman Empire to the British mandate to the UN mandate and the UN offering two-state solution. But then, you know, they have a very selective memory about certain things. Moving on, I have got a statement from Avi Ohana, father of Yosef Chaim Ohana. And it goes like this. First and foremost, thank you to the Holy One, blessed be He, who received all our prayers over 2 years. Together, the entire nation prayed endlessly, and thank God our prayers were answered. We were filled with happiness for the privilege that has fallen to us to embrace Yosef Chaim again. Our hearts are with the families who have not yet had the chance to receive their loved ones, and we wish for the swift return to the land of Israel of all our deceased hostages for proper burial. So it goes on, but I'm going to stop here and then invite another partner from Texas. They've been working with Muslims in the community. Her name is Anna Mikra, and she runs Rooted in Unity organization that works on interfaith. Anna, the stage is yours. Please have a comment about this day.
Assalamu alaikum and shalom and good afternoon. Thank you very much, Anila and Wajid, to make me part of this wonderful event, which is very much needed. I've heard participants viewing their opinions, and I just have to say one thing. The most important thing is this, that every life restored is a victory of humanity. So I welcome back to the people who are reunited with their loved ones. And everybody is congratulating President Trump, including me, saying that he brought the peace, but and hostages came back. But there's one more important thing, that he also brought Palestinians back to their homes. All of hundreds of thousands are going back to their homes because of this peace effort. So this is a historic moment. And yes, as Ms. Suraya was saying, that we need to have a collective effort, especially in the United States, that what the situation is going on, and everybody, they may not talk about it, but they know it. So these platforms are essential to have a dialogue, and let all Muslims, either we have to create some kind of a format or what, because the dialogue is very important to live with Jews and Christians and other beliefs, religions, because that is very true, that people are not, they don't have clear idea that why do they hate. And it should be on individual level, it should be on collective level, and beside these, this is the responsibility of regional and international and all these authorities, leaders, people to I'm sorry. Yes, my message was this, that we have to work together more for lasting peace. And let's celebrate this historic moment. Thank you.
Yes, we are waiting for a lasting peace. It is yet to come. But I think I'm going to take on from what Anam said, and I'm going to ask Sheikh Musa, what do you think? Why the hate word? Why do they hate? We've talked about the ignorance and not knowing, and or knowingly avoiding the facts. But hate, how would you define that?
You know, the Muslim world is a product of a colonized people. You know, we all are product of formerly colonized nations and groups. And there were infusion of different etiquette, different attitude, different moral code, and different lifestyle by those that colonize our respective homelands. And what that did to us is that we see ourselves, number one, as victims and perpetual victims.
Perpetual victims, yes.
Perpetual victims. And that's why the call for resistance sounds so appealing, because we're resisting colonialism, neo-colonialism, you know, enslavement, oppression, stealing our resources, all these things. This is what the Muslim Brotherhood cleverly understood and used past injustice. And because they use past injustice, the platform becomes appealing, because it's almost like you have moral responsibility to be part of it. And the biggest target is Israel. Why Israel? Because Masjid Aqsa is the third holiest masjid, and it's being occupied by Zionists and by atheists. And you know, every Muslim, you know, is obligated to fight so that we can free the third holiest masjid. And anybody that interferes with it becomes an enemy, and whatever happened to them is collateral damage. And this is the attitude that is promoted so profoundly for the past 70 years. We were born into resistance. We were born into anti-Semitism. We were born into fighting Israel to the last breath, because it is part of our religious duty that if we cannot, we must do it. And we were never ever given proper education. We were never even given proper guidance, and we were never even allowed to use our intelligence. One time, my wife and I run the only full-time Muslim school in the Bronx. One time, I said, let me test. I did so many tests on the kids. One time I said, let me test these kids about Israel and Jews. So I asked the kids one morning during our meeting, I said, I want to know how many Jewish people are in the world. I want every one of you to tell me how many Jewish people. Some of them say, 2 billion. Some of them are 1 billion. Some of them will say 1.5 billion. Some of them even say more than 2 billion, because to them, the Jewish people represent everybody in the world, especially everybody that oppress Muslims. They believe that there are more Jewish people in the world than Muslims, because that is the message that they get from home. And guess what?
Even though Israel is the only Jewish state.
That's what I'm saying. So when I told them, no, it's about 18 million all over the world, they were looking at me like I was the craziest people and everything. So what all I'm saying is that this was a program that have been, brewing for so long. But the good thing is this: after 9/11, George Bush said, which I will never forget, he said there's a problem that needs to be fixed. And this problem is radicalization within the Muslim world. And to fix it, we got to go to the mosque and madrasa. I never forget that. And guess what? Unfortunately, the price is unbearable. But change took place. Before 9/11, every masajid that you go to, it doesn't matter what nationality they were, part of the khutbah and part of the prayer at the end of the khutbah was to curse the Jews, curse Israel, everywhere. After 9/11, you can walk to any masajid, only few will use any derogatory or even very few, because guess what? You don't know the person playing next door to you is informant, because there are some masajids after 9/11, every other third person, either secret service, whatever, so you don't know. And there are a lot of missing scholars who are very hostile to the Western world, and nobody knows where they are. What I'm saying is that we have now to insist on re-educating Muslims from the schools and the masajid. This is our obligation. We go to the school and see the curriculum. And if the books do not meet the basic peaceful standard that Islam preach, then we need to change it, and we need to work with the government. For example, OIC, we are indirectly working with OIC leadership through different channels to advocate certain things, and I guarantee you it's working. And we're not going to disclose everything, but we have to go to the masajids and madrasa, and with a new curriculum that will change it, because the Muslim world is young. Majority of the Muslim world, the nations, they are young. They are on the 30s. They don't have any knowledge about a lot of things. So we can now re-educate a new generation of Muslims through masajids and madrasas.
Thank you very much. I was going to ask you what the solution could be with this systematic brotherhood infiltration that had taken place, but thank you for that. That madrasas and masjids needs to be supervised. Moving on, the statement from the family of Maxim Harkin, and they say, after 2 agonizing years of uncertainty, anxiety, and hope, Maxim has returned to us. We thank the people of Israel for their endless support, the IDF soldiers and security forces who fought day and night to bring Maxim and our other loved ones home. And Maxim is strong. He endured a difficult period under inhumane conditions and showed us once again how much physical and mental strength he possesses. From now on, he begins a journey of recovery, love, and rehabilitation. We will embrace him, wrap him in our care, and look forward soon to his reunion with his beloved daughter. Thank you to everyone who walked with us along this journey. Words cannot describe our gratitude to you. Finally, we ask that our privacy be respected at this time to allow Maxim to recover, heal, and find his way back to life after a long period of darkness. So yes, there were people, there were organizations that had been fighting for this day since the day one. I'm going to invite another partner organization, Holly Hood from Texas, and to say a word or two about today's release of hostages.
Well, I think it's a beautiful day for all of us. We waited for this day for the hostages to come home. People may feel like it's an ordinary. No, it's no ordinary day. It's a very beautiful day. It touches us too, just to see them free and return to their families. We would have felt the same way if something happened to us being captured. 2 years of prison like that. How could you possibly not say today's just that day? Feel the beauty of seeing moms unite, seeing their child, seeing their loved ones come together, waiting for their kids to come home after 2 years. And I think the Muslim world does not understand that this extremism, this hate ideology, it impacts us too, because nobody looks at us with respect, dignity, or almost anything if you look at it, which is why I was saying in many PTA meetings and including I wrote a message to Mr. Munir that you really need to make a peace deal with Israel. It's important for us only again in so many ways compared to what is around. And in order for us to build a better version of ourselves, we need to connect with other nations and not live in a extremist illusion. What people are living under, they're living under a propaganda, don't understand that we get worth based on the choices we make, shaking hands with other nations. And Israel's no isolated nation. It's one of us. If you work with the West, you have to accept Israel. And in the end, just like how Anitla said in her statements a couple of weeks ago, the West has given us worth. So why would we kick out the West from our lives? And Israel is the West. It is our duty. We must respect Israel and accept Israel as an ally. And seeing people come home today is a big impact in our life.
And Maniza, you've done a lot of work on fighting for the hostages, fighting against extremism. And as a mother, as a Muslim Pakistani, how do you feel? Where should our focus be as Muslim Americans for the next few years? What you've heard from the mosque, what you've seen, tell us how you feel today about that, because you're going to have a child that is growing up here in America.
My goal as a mother is to teach my child about every ethnicity, circle, and culture. I'm not going to make her get out into the world and not let her learn about other ethnicities and culture, knowing that she's going to be traveling, being part of their world as a Muslim. It's her responsibility to know about them too. And I think our first goal as Pakistanis, we need to really push our government to like really exterminate the hate and extremism ideology from our countries, even though the mullahs are out of ideas right now. They don't know what to say right now at the moment, what's happening.
Well, I think the countries that have joined hands to bring peace, they have to play a real role and build that support in the grassroots of their countries. It's very easy. I always say it's very easy to give a top-down decree and say that's how it's going to be. But it is much harder for countries like Pakistan and countries like Morocco, Indonesia, Muslim majority countries where we have suffered from the Arab infiltration of the Al Qaeda ideology for many, many decades. And now to extricate that, it is going to take a lot of resources, a lot of firm leadership, strong leadership, and a lot of money as well. So, with that, I want to remind people that if we are to ask someone, it is to the British that they, when the League of Nations, they were given trusts by the Arabs and the Jews to create two states. They failed. They failed the Jews. They gave, they wanted to give, they didn't give the state of Israel legitimacy at that point. And much of the same in South Asia as well. And it's okay for the world to delegitimize Israel, but there are many other conflicts where we have to see, where has the world gone wrong? Syria it's a hub right now of extremism, and it's a Muslim majority country. Sudan, the same. In Nigeria, there's a huge, majority of Muslims where Christians are being persecuted.
Like President Trump has a lot on his plate. Right? After
Yeah.
moving from this one, he has to make all
Yes,
the with
yes,
all
and this is a call. This is a call to
coincidentally
President.
they all are Muslim nations or Muslim states. That's very ironic and unfortunate. I'm gonna add on captivity survivor Arbel, partner of Ariel Cuneo. And the message is, my Ariel is home and I'm overwhelmed with emotion and joy. For over 2 years, the hope of holding Ariel again is what sustained and drove me every single day. From the moment of my release, I devoted everything I had to the struggle to bring my Ariel home, to bring David home, and to bring all the hostages back. Now that Ariel and David are home, we can focus on our long journey of healing and recovery together as a couple and as a family, and we can turn to grieving the loss of my beloved brother Dolev. As we know that not just one or two, there were many members of one single family who were taken to Gaza by Hamas. I'm gonna now ask Sheikh Musa and our colleague Soraya to add on, because I have one last question that I need to ask all of you. It's the ordeal is not over. I think yes, the message is right that there's going to be a process of healing and everything. How long that's going to take, you have yet to see. But this is the first stage. We don't know what the second phase of this deal would bring, but we are hoping for the best. What do you say, Imam Musa?
As I said earlier, this is a new reality. I know that we have been to so many places with so much high hopes and so much handshakes, and only to regress back. But if you read the signs, you cannot help but to be hopeful. And President Trump is a transactional leader, and President Trump is highly respected within the Arab League, and has a great welcoming relationship with Israel. And we have President Trump, God willing, for the next 4 years. And change is coming. And I'm very, to see the president of Pakistan speaking and thanking Trump for advancing peace, that Turkey was part of the architect. Saudi Arabia, I promise you, Abraham Accord will soon get new members. This is a new day, new reality. And anybody that discount this is not reading the sign. Yes, I know that there are many disappointments, but this is new day. And I think we're moving forward with a new reality.
I was going to bring the conversation here, exactly here. That President Trump has announced the expansion of Abraham Accords. So it is a good sign, even though people had started criticizing the previous Accords, and the 2.0 was further trying to be delegitimized, that the Muslim Arab countries are not going to join and they have their own conflict going on. But this is a positive sign, and I hope that we are not hoping against hope, that this goes the right track. The expansion apparently includes 8 more countries. And yes, you're right, Pakistani Prime Minister being there, and then once again endorsing President Trump for Peace Prize is a big sign. Sorry, you wanted to add something.
Yes, thank you again. So today is a very powerful moment for us Americans. Let us be proud of being American first, because today we have a leader who is representing America magnificently, powerfully. Let us breathe in that moment and really acknowledge how privileged and how honored we need to be for the place where our country we live in is. So in view of all the anti-Americanism that is going around, I just hope and pray that our leaders in the Congress, like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, and all our Muslim civic organizations, will teach our youth to be proud Americans first. Because if this country goes down, we all go down. We can't go to live in China, Russia, nor can we go back to the countries we have come from. Having said that, this is a moment I want to really also make it clear that I am a South Asian Muslim. We followed the Arabic that was taught to us, the Quran that was interpreted to us by the Arabs. Today, South Asia has 63% of the Muslims. We are coming from the progeny of Sufi Islam, where love was reigning. We come from the progeny of Buddha, of Nehru, of Gandhi. Who are we to be so silent when it comes to the basic values of love, compassion, equanimity, generosity, gratitude to our fellow citizens of the world? We have been taught to hate the Jews. We have been taught by a theology that has been hijacked. And really, some of my friends say Islam died the day the Prophet died because it has been hijacked. And then we have to understand today, the president of Indonesia, Mr. Subiarto, is going to Egypt for the conference. We have to engage South Asian Muslims. This is very critical. When the majority of Muslims live in Indonesia, this is a huge step for us to celebrate. And then, as Munisa said, who are we to isolate Israel? Israel is giving life, science, technology, friendship. And Wajid, every statement you made brought tears to my eyes because it's one of love and it's one of hope, it's one of repair, it's one of compassion. So we need a lot to learn from these people. And those of us who have gone to Israel, met the Jewish people, we know this. That's why we stood up for the Jewish people. So let us remember our heritage. We are South Asian Muslims. 63% of Muslims live in South Asia. And let us bring a new leadership to America first of South Asian Muslim voices. And I will stop there. Thank you, Majid.
Thank you for your comments, Roya. I'm gonna add the last statement, which was from this group of hostages families. Apparently, and I don't know what the current situation is right now, right this second when we're recording this, but apparently they had out of 30, only 2 dead bodies were released. So they had issued a statement. I just want to make a point here, even if they are released now, that what actually goes on the ground and how people have to deal with these situations there. So the Hostages Families Forum is calling for the immediate suspension of all agreement implementation until every deceased individual is returned. Hamas's violation of the agreement must be met with a very serious response from the government and the mediators. An agreement must be honored by both sides. If Hamas does not fulfill their part, Israel should not fulfill its part either. We demand all 28 hostages back. We will not give up on anyone until the last hostage is returned. So this is very important in this sense when people go on about when this agreement was imposed by Israel on President Trump, and that it's the Israel's agreement and not President Trump's agreement. And even if it's going to have any outcome, maybe Israel is not going to follow through, and so forth. But these kind of statements tell you what actually happens on the ground. So I think I'm going to conclude here, but I'm going to invite each one of you, if you want to have a comment about the expansion of Abraham Accords, and then we can move on, hoping that this whole agreement, this peace deal goes through. It's not going to happen in a day, in a month, in a week, in a year, but there has to be a first step, and today was a first step that had been taken. Anila, you want to add?
I know Anam wants to add, but I am just going to say a few words, and then Wajid, you can pass it on to Anam. Today, I want to thank all of our partners, all of our friends in the Muslim world, whether they are in Pakistan, Bangladesh, who have stood with us, and of course here in America, who have stood with us. I know that on October 7th, Abraham Accords started in 2020, and after that, things were much easier for us than they were after October 7th. For those of us who stood for Abrahamic unity post October 7th, I thank you for your moral clarity. I thank you for your courage. Those of you that are standing with us, and a couple of, I would say, lives that we lost in the way, like Imtiaz Mir, our brother journalist from Pakistan, the loudest voice for peace between normalization of relations between Israel and Pakistan. You would be happy. I know you're happy and smiling in the heavens, and Allah's watching over you. But I think I want to take this moment to thank all those that have stood, my sisters at AMMWEC, my friends, Wajid, you're right here, Anam, and the new upcoming leadership, Muniza, Imam Musa Drame, who has been Muslim-Israel dialogue. He's led that dialogue very boldly. It has not been an easy journey to stand up and say, I bore witness to truth. It made us lose our families. It made us lose our networks. But we knew that one day this would mean peace between the Israelis and the Arabs. And that was our dream. And I hope that everything goes smoothly and that all the bodies, what I loved about the Israeli people was the love for life and the love, and to acknowledge the sacredness of a human body, that they are waiting to bury their loved ones. And Hamas, I hope, gives them all back to the Israelis so they can do whatever they need to. And may God bless the peacemakers, as it says in Matthew's, blessed are the peacemakers. And I thank all of you for standing with AMMWEC.
Anam, if you wanted to add. I think you're on mute. Probably, yes, you are.
Am I?
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said that it is going to be a brief comment, and that being American Muslim, we have great challenge and responsibilities. And may it look very difficult and bleak situation, but everyone like Wajid, Anila, Suraya, Imam Sahib, I, and many other who are partnering in this effort, who have names or who may not be visible, but everyone, we will definitely make a difference. And I believe for a better future, and I hope and I trust in our administration that they will definitely get to the peace accord, which was actually said yes. And that was actually said that this is what is going to be the terms and conditions. So I hope that the last thing that Wajid just told about the disease, the bodies, I hope that they will, their loved ones will have a moment of peace with their return.
Thank you. And I'm going to ask Hassan. Hassan, if you could comment on the expansion of Abraham Accords, that would be great.
Yes, and thanks to heaven, energies, whatever God, whatever there is, we are alive to see peace happening in Middle East and in the world. So the world, including the largest democracy and the oldest democracy, India, and including and the United States, once again a chance to say never again, which they failed in the past in 1930s, 40s, when the Holocaust was happening. Now now the world has again a chance to say never again, October 7th. So I met with the survival of Holocaust in Jerusalem, and I said, what is the deal? What is the word? She said, hope. I would again say the hope. The hope is the extension of Abraham Accord. And the one more thing I would like to mention here is a very pertinent, that the last page of the Pakistan passport say that all countries valid for all countries in the world except Israel. So in a way that Israel is named million of times every day because the millions of Pakistanis travel the world. So I hope that Pakistan would delete this page or strike out of its passport. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I was reading it somewhere that that's the only foreign country where the Israel is mentioned. So that's funny. Besides,
time. So
I'm gonna
that's
check.
my-
You can have the
so
last.
never again. So yeah.
Yes, on this momentous occasion, I would say the most beautiful day for all of us in the last 2 years. I want to say two things in closing. Anila and your partners, what you are doing is what needs to be done. You don't need million people, 1,000 people. You just need one strong principal leader that lead the way, because that is how the world has changed in every generation. One person that become 2, 3, and then town, and then change happens. So therefore, Anila, continue on. I know it's tough. Sometimes it's lonely, sometimes it's scary, sometimes it's dangerous. But what you are doing is leading the way forward. And we are extremely honored, to and to partner and ally on this journey. We understand what it takes to do what you do. Let me give you two things to encourage you to continue on, all of you. I think maybe about 15 years ago or so, Israeli, I wouldn't name the person, but one of the highest officials in the Israeli government was coming to New York with a delegation. And they requested to invite me and my wife to have a moment with them. And we were invited, private moment. And we were told, they said, what you are doing in New York and the bravery and the principal position you take, and you do it in such a public manner. They said every time a decision is to be made about bombing or assassinating or doing something on the Palestinians, we think of you and your wife. That's what we were told in a private setting. I'm disclosing this so that Anila and your partner will be so encouraged to know that the impact that we make is so profound that the top leaders always see us, always think of us. And the person told us there were some aborted actions that we were taking, but we think of you and the things that you guys are doing and the sacrifice you're making in bringing peace in this troubled part of our world. I'm saying this was said to us in a private setting by one of the highest officers. If I told you the name, you wouldn't believe, but that was happened, and I will never forget it. And from that moment, it was a fuel in my system that I said, if I die doing what I'm doing, I'm a martyr, and I would be so happy doing it. And all of you should feel the same way. The second thing that I want to also say, after 9/11, one of the programs that we helped to establish along with the Holocaust Memorial Museum is a program called Interfaith Living Museum, where fifth graders from Muslim schools and Jewish schools follow year-long curriculum, one of the most powerful. One of the students who graduated from that program was a daughter of a former Israeli Attorney General. And at the graduation, his daughter was chosen to speak, and his daughter spoke so eloquently. And after that, the person, tears were rolling out of his eyes, and he came and hugged me. He said, I'm a former Israeli Attorney General. I held so many positions, former whatever. This program is the most powerful program that I have ever been part of in terms of building peace between two warring factions. And I'm glad that my daughter graduated. These are the two examples that should push all of you to know that no matter how bitter of a feeling other people have about what we do, we're saving Palestinian lives. We are working on behalf of the Palestinians. We are the one who's holding on the legitimate Palestinian cause. We are the one normalizing two-state solution. We're the one fighting on behalf of the Palestinians, but we don't do it in the expense of Israel. We don't do it through the mechanism of anti-Semitism. We don't do it because we're being controlled by the enemies who are consuming them and have consumed the Muslim world. What we're doing is what the Israelis are doing. Last but not least, 4 years ago or 5 years ago, after our meeting with the Palestinian and the Fatah leaders in Ramallah, in their headquarters, we were walking out, and one of the Fatah leaders, I forgot his name, one of the prominent leaders shook my hand and said, there are a lot of people who are non-Palestinians, they rally behind Palestinian cause, but all they're doing is hurting us and moving our cause, regressing. This is what we need to do, because we do not want anti-Israel elements speaking on our behalf. We believe in two-state solution. We believe in our rights to exist, our state to be established, our children to have future, but we're not doing it in the expense of Israel. And he shook my hand and said, thank you. I want to thank all of you, and I want to encourage you to continue on forward. We're doing the right thing. Our opponents and our enemies are doing the wrong thing. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Musa. I'm going to take this line from Isaiah 43:10, and it says, where God says to the children of Israel that you are my witnesses. So I think I'm going to close by telling the children of Israel that we are your witnesses. We gather here today to stand with you, cry with you, and be happy with you as well. Thank you very much, everybody, for participating. I think we're going to take our leave now and gather again soon.